Lucy is a hacking legend in the anime, so for her build, I wanted to make a versatile netrunner that also minces up bad guys with the monowire. This build incorporates everything we see Lucy use in the anime, plus some extra bits and pieces to make it really stand out. So, let's go. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do more of these themed anime builds. I'm enjoying having this break from Elden Ring, and I would be interested in doing a couple more of these, so we'll see how they go. For Lucy's build, I focused on the two primary parts of her kit that we see her use in the anime. It's quick hacking and the monomire. This really gives you a nice flow to combat using the quick hacks as your ranged attack, especially the short circuit, which basically one-shots even on ultra hard, and the monowire to clean up enemies that get too close, or if you get surrounded, they have a pretty decent AoE to them, the monowire, so you can hit multiple enemies with them and their overall damage is extremely high. I'm also using the Synaptic Accelerator because it seems like in the anime, Lucy can do some sort of time slowing thing when she uses the monowire, like time seems to freeze for a second and she like snaps the monowire everywhere and then like cuts off everyone's limbs. So it kind of fits within that same kind of flow as it slows down time when you're detected. And it's also beneficial for this build because it gives you those couple of extra seconds to figure out what you want to do when you are detected in combat. And this isn't a stealth build. We're not focusing on stealth at all, as Lucy doesn't really stealth. And if you wanted to go the stealth route with Ninjutsu, you absolutely definitely can, though it's probably closer to like a Kiwi build. But our main focus is on the hacks and the monowire, and I feel that including Synaptic's Accelerator as like the combat opener, you start in that slow time where you can initiate a couple of quick hacks or get in close with the monowire just to give you a little bit of an upper hand or an edge at the start of combat, fits really well with what Lucy is like in the anime. Now, we're using Cold Blood as well to buff quick hacks and melee damage and resistances to stay alive when that combat does break out and you can keep fighting and keep active in the combat itself. Let's talk about the attributes and perks that we're using. So for our attributes, we are maxing out our intelligence to 20, body to 12, reflexes to 18, as we do need reflexes for increasing our monowire damage, cool to 18, and I'm not using any technical ability here. I've just got that as low as possible. Now, you could put technical ability into this build, but it doesn't really fit. There's no purpose to crafting or engineering in this build, but technical ability is super important if you wanted to do crafting and stuff in the game. It's a really valuable skill and perks to have in general, but because I'm focusing on this theme of Lucy, she doesn't really do any of that stuff, so we're not really using any technical ability for this. So for perks, starting out with a body, in the athletics line, we're picking up perks here that will increase our health as well as our health regen and stamina, but also our melee damage with steel and chrome. Steel and chrome is probably the primary focus of the perks here, and then the health perks are just really for our general survivability and allowing us to act a little bit better in combat when we are taking some of that brunt of the damage. Into reflexes next. Now, reflexes I've got on 18 for the just standard damage increase you get from buffing your reflexes. You just get increases to your monowire damage. But in the blades line, it does appear that the perks that just say like they affect blades affect monowire as well. Based on my testing, it seems like they do affect it, even so slightly. Now, some of the bleeding perks in here absolutely will affect the monowire because the monowire itself does have inherent bleed chance. So you should be picking up things like Crimson Tide, Stuck Pig, and the Crimson Dance. And picking up the other blade perks, it does seem like they do affect it on what I have tested. But I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but it does appear to increase the damage, although it even just says blades, but it seems monowires appear to be blades. Anyway, we'll move on. Moving on to cool. Now, the cool stat in Ninjutsu, the main thing you want to pick up here is Assassin and Hasty Retreat. So Hasty Retreat will give you a temporary speed boost when you do initiate combat. It fits perfectly with the Synaptic Accelerator, allowing you to get into that close range quickly with a monowire or move to a specific spot. And in the Cold Blood line, I'm picking up basically everything in here that benefits quick hacks, melee attack speed and melee damage, and just the Cold Blood perks in general, as well as health regen. So the only perks we're avoiding in this line here are any perks that mention range damage or weapon recoil, that kind of stuff. Moving on to intelligence, this is our primary stat. Now, in Breach Protocol, there is a couple of things you can pick up here just to increase your overall flexibility, like mass vulnerability, so you could do more damage, especially the mass vulnerability quick hacks perk, so enemies take 30% more damage from quick hacks, will just increase your overall quick hacks potential. Now, if you were focusing a little bit more on stealth, you'd probably spend more time in this line picking up things like the Big Sleep Demon and the Turret Control, things like that. So you would play a little bit slower focusing on the Breach Patrol, but we're not not focusing on that. We're focusing on quick hacks. So in the quick hacking line, you're going to pick up everything and max out almost everything. The main ones here are blood wear to increase your quick hack overall damage. You want to definitely pick up all the crafting perks because you will want to upgrade your quick hacks and make sure that they're going to do the most amount of damage. As you increase their rarity, they do up their damage. Plague is also super important so that your quick hacks can spread between targets. It'll jump between them. They have to be close together for this to occur, so you won't see it happen all the time, but when it does, it's very valuable because you can kill, especially with short circuit, you can one-shot multiple enemies with like very little actual effort. So that's the main focus there. For your cyberware, our main actual cyberware kit that we are using is the Netwatch NetDriver Mark V. This comes from the lovely Ripper Doc in Haywood. The homie here will also sell you the legendary monowire, so you can get both of these from him. This is the best cyber deck in the game, I believe, and you will then need to mod it with the different quick hacks that you want to use. Personally, I absolutely recommend picking up Short Circuit or any version of Short Circuit that you can get because it's probably the highest damage potential you can get. One shots most things. Overheat is really good. I like Ping just to make sure that you can see what enemies are up to and where they are actually located, though for an aggressive build like this, it's not necessary. Synapsis Burnout also is very similar. It will allow you to deal that most amount of damage, and then anything else you can really just pick up whatever you like. There's plenty of other options like Detonate Grenades or Cyber Psychosis, things that will benefit you but up to your kind of general playstyle. The Ripper Doc in Westbrook will sell you the Micro Vibration Generator to increase your base damage with melee weapons. The Ripper Doc in Santo Domingo will sell you the Synaptic Accelerator as well, so that you can get that off in combat. There is a legendary version of this that you can purchase in Japantown, but because we don't have 20 reflexes, we can't actually use it, so rare is the highest quality that we can get, and he's the one that sells it. If you do max out your reflexes, you can change that, but with this build that we're specifically using, I'm not actually using that version. In terms of my other cyberware attachments, I'm using things like micro rotors to increase my attack speed. I've always got the double jump on, as it's like my favorite thing to use. X Disc will increase your cyber deck's maximum amount of RAM slots, and then you should also grab the RAM upgrade just to increase your RAM recovery rate. But otherwise, anything else that you want to fit within this build works. I'm using a lot of defensive cyberware in my like system and nervous system kind of areas because it will help me survive when I'm using the monowire, especially when I'm just taking damage while I'm trying to get like quick hacks off, that kind of thing. Moving on to weapons, there isn't a whole lot of weapons to talk about really. It's just the monowire that you're picking up from that guy in Haywood that we mentioned earlier. You can get mods for this if you really wanted to mod it out, but it really is just straight up powerful on its own. You don't need to do too much with it. And with your quick hacks as your other main weapon that you're using, you will want to make sure you're crafting these and upgrading their quality to increase their overall damage. You could use weapons, like we do see Lucy use a pistol at one point, but honestly, you're probably going to do more damage just from quick hacking and getting that off than actually just like poking at someone with a pistol. But some quick leveling tips is in those early stages of the game, it might be better to actually use some kind of a weapon to combo with the quick hacks where you're just leveling up yourself and getting these benefits and the different upgrades. And you don't need to pick up the legendary versions of all this gear straight away. As I've said before, any like quality that you can get, and then you start building that build together, you can start getting the perks and upgrading, and things will start feeling a bit better. And initially you could put more investment into stealth and the breach protocol side of things, and then just reset your perks once you do level up and get the cold blood and quick hacking perks instead, because they do come from the same attribute trees, so you can change that relatively simply. And also make sure you're hacking access points for quick hacks and components as well as eddies, so that you can get these upgrades and keep progressing in this Netrunner line. Let me know if you would like me to do any other Cyberpunk builds. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.